Hey folks, welcome back. So today I figured I would bring you back to my A-yard. This is my out yard or backyard at my friend Adrian's house, and I wanted to show you what's going on with my hive stand. And I did bring some extra frames along with me. I have a deep frame here that I previously spun out, and I did mention in my last video that I was making some foundationless frames. And I brought 6 along, and you'll sort of see this one has the X pattern with the fishing line, and I have holes in the end bars, and you'll see I'm using upholstery tacks. They're basically 3/8 inch tacks to wrap the fishing line around. Now the tacks are not that long, so I only wrap the fishing string around 2 or 3 times at the most, and then I just tack it right into place. You'll see I did cut starter strip, and I put it right into the top bar like I explained in my last video. Let me show you what's going on with the stand. It's a little crooked. I'm kind of worried that the whole thing will tip over. You'll see the hive stand I'm talking about, but you can kind of see the hives are slanted, so that's a little concerning to me. That's why when I put the stand on that little support brick, I didn't even it out, so it's starting to tilt. Well, okay, it's not professional engineering, but backyard redneckery at its best. Again, I'm sure I could probably try to lift up and slide this end, but I'm afraid of jostling the hives. I don't want the beast to come out and start stinging me. Okay folks, now that I got my smoker lit, what we're going to do is we are going to open this hive and we're going to extract some honey frames. From my last video, we know that there's 9 frames of deep cap honey in that hive. This nucleus colony was so full on the top, I didn't even look on the bottom. And then also, we checked this hive, we found the queen. These frames on the outer edge were undrawn. They had foundation in them. And the comb that I had rubber banded in there was older, and these 2 outer comb pieces were really not used. So I'm going to take those frames out. I'm going to give them that extracted deep frame that I mentioned, and then I'll give them some foundationless frames and kind of let them go from there. So enough rambling. Let me go ahead and go grab the extracted drawn out frame for this colony, and we'll pull these honey frames. Take that frame out. Take this frame out. This frame here, we see that there's really there's nothing going on. The wax is older. There's no nectar or pollen stores. So this is not serving any usefulness to the colony, so we're going to pull this frame. I don't like breaking their festoon when I separate the frames, but at the same time, I don't want them cross-combing either. And let's take a closer look at this to see if it's really needed. I appreciate how the bees are festooning, but again, this comb really, there's nothing going on. Okay, so we gave them the extracted frame. This frame piece, even though the wax is somewhat in decent condition, it's older, and this was cutout wax. So I know some of you would have left this in here, but again, I'm gonna give the bees a fresh start. So here we see the bees are drawing fresh wax. You see up here, excuse me girls, they're drawing fresh wax in where the frame kind of meets. But even though this wax is a little bit bowed, we'll let them keep it for now. We'll put a foundationless frame. We'll leave them with a frame of foundation, and then we'll give them another foundationless. Okay, again, and that was all. But so far this colony is doing great. About 6 frames of bees in a 10-frame box, so they do have plenty of room to expand. I just got to monitor to make sure they don't cross comb. So that's all we're going to look at here. I'm going to seal them back up. Okay, so now what I'd like to do is I would like to rob some honey frames, and right behind these colonies I have an empty nucleus box. I stuffed some grass in the entrance, so as I pull a frame of honey, I'll put it in this box, put the lid on it, and that'll keep the bees from flying back on top of it. So we'll do this nucleus box first. Uh-oh. Well, that's not good. The 2 outer frames, I cleaned the burr comb off the bottom. The 3rd frame was a medium-sized frame, and this is a deep box, so there was burr comb underneath that was honey, and part of it was cross-combed to the 4th frame here. So the comb was ripped. There's a little bit of honey dripping. I'm not going to bother messing with this. I'm going to leave it the way it is. I'm not going to pull the honey. There is enough space in there for the queen to lay, but let's go ahead and rob a couple of frames out here. We're going to leave this frame. You notice how it's not fully capped? And down here on the bottom, see how those cells are not capped yet? We leave little spots like that for the honeybees to fill in. Some people will extract this frame, but I'll leave them. And these are the frames I like to take. Fully capped frames. Okay folks, so I got about 20 minutes worth of battery power. It is getting a little darker out here. I just pulled 4 frames. We'll see in here. There's 4 frames of fully capped honey. I may extract right away and then give the frames back to the bees, or I'll use those frames once they're extracted. I'll use them for these other cutouts that I did. Again, it's all old comb from this colony here. We know it was queen right from the last video, but we did remove some old comb. Really nothing wrong with it. I'm sure it can be reused by some folks, but here in Florida, it's just good practice for me to rotate this. So this comb is coming out, and I'll demonstrate how I use my wax melter using these comb pieces. My birthday is next week on December the 6th, so if you want to send me a birthday present, go to YouTube, search my name, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and help me get 1,000 subscribers, and I will love you dearly for it. Even if you don't subscribe, I'll still love you, but shh, it's a secret. I want you to subscribe, so go ahead. Thanks.